Hello, future doctors. Welcome to Synapse. Today, we are diving into a fundamental biological process, osmosis. It's a key concept in our breathing and exchange of gases chapter and vital for understanding how life works at a cellular level. We'll journey through 4 levels: easy, medium, hard, and hardest, building your knowledge step by step. Get ready to explore the fascinating world of water movement. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is osmosis, and why is it so important for living things? Imagine tiny water molecules moving around. Osmosis is essentially a special kind of diffusion, specifically for water. It describes how water travels across a very particular kind of barrier called a semi-permeable membrane. Think of this membrane as a smart gatekeeper. It lets small things like water through, but blocks bigger molecules, like salts or sugars. This movement always happens from where there's more water to where there's less, trying to balance things out. Why does this happen? Well, nature loves balance. Water wants to dilute the more concentrated side, aiming for equal concentrations everywhere. A great example you can try at home is putting a dried raisin in water. The raisin's skin acts like a semi-permeable membrane. Water from the ball, which has a higher water concentration, moves into the raisin, which has less water, causing it to swell up. Simple, yet profoundly important. Time to test your understanding with some quick questions. Pause the video, think about the answers, and then rejoin us to check your knowledge. These questions will help solidify the basic concepts of osmosis. Ready to go a bit deeper? Let's explore how osmosis impacts different types of cells and the concept of water potential. To truly understand osmosis, we need to grasp water potential. Think of it as the push or pull that makes water move. Water always flows from an area where its potential energy is higher to where it's lower. Now, consider different solutions. An isotonic solution has the same concentration as the cell, so no net water movement occurs. A hypotonic solution is less concentrated than the cell, causing water to rush in, making animal cells swell and plant cells firm. On the other hand, a hypertonic solution is more concentrated than the cell. In this case, water leaves the cell. This causes animal cells to shrivel, a process called crenation. For plant cells, the protoplast shrinks away from the cell wall, a phenomenon known as plasmolysis. Osmosis is vital for maintaining cell volume and function, from plant roots absorbing water to regulating fluid balance in our bodies. The mechanism behind this water movement is fascinating. Water molecules, being small, can either slip directly through the cell's lipid membrane or, more efficiently, pass through special protein channels called aquaporins. The driving force is always that difference in water potential across the membrane, ensuring water moves where it's needed most to achieve equilibrium. Now for some medium-level questions. These will challenge you to apply your understanding of solution types and their effects on cells. Take your time, think critically, and see how well you can explain these cellular responses. Excellent! You're making great progress. Let's step up the challenge and delve into the more complex aspects and biological significance of osmosis. At the hard level, we introduce osmotic pressure. This isn't just a concept, it's the actual pressure needed to stop water from moving into a solution across a semi-permeable membrane. It's a crucial property, especially for plant cells. When water fills a plant cell, it pushes against the rigid cell wall, creating turgor pressure. This pressure is what keeps plants upright and firm. Conversely, if a plant cell loses water in a concentrated environment, its internal contents shrink away from the cell wall. This is plasmolysis, leading to wilting. Osmosis is also fundamentally important in biology. It's how plant roots absorb water from the soil, how guard cells regulate stomata for gas exchange, and how our kidneys reabsorb water to maintain fluid balance. It's truly a pervasive biological mechanism. it's important to clarify the relationship between osmosis and general diffusion. While osmosis is a type of diffusion, specifically for water, it requires a semi-permeable membrane, unlike general diffusion which can occur freely. Diffusion involves any substance moving down its concentration gradient, but osmosis is exclusively about water moving down its water potential gradient. Understanding these distinctions is key to mastering cellular transport. You've tackled some intricate concepts. Now, let's see how well you can apply this knowledge with our hard-level practice questions. These will require a deeper analytical approach and a solid grasp of the mechanisms we've discussed. All right, buckle up. We are moving into the hardest level. Here, we'll explore the quantitative side, advanced applications, and competitive depth of osmosis. Get ready for some serious insights. At this level, we quantify water movement using water potential components. The total water potential is a sum of solute potential, pressure potential, and matrix potential. Solute potential, or osmotic potential, is always negative because solutes lower water's potential. We can precisely calculate osmotic pressure using the Van 't Hoff equation, pi equals ICRT. I is the Van 't Hoff factor, accounting for how many particles a solute splits into, C is molar concentration, R is the gas constant, and T is temperature in Kelvin. This equation is powerful for predicting water movement. Beyond natural processes, osmosis has powerful engineering applications. Reverse osmosis, or RO, is a prime example. Here, we apply external pressure to force water against its natural osmotic flow, from a high solute concentration to a low one, through a semi-permeable membrane. This technology is incredibly important for purifying drinking water, desalinating seawater, and treating wastewater. It literally reverses the natural process of osmosis to achieve purification. Osmosis is also central to osmoregulation, how organisms maintain their internal water balance. Freshwater organisms, being saltier than their surroundings, constantly absorb water and must excrete it. Marine organisms, conversely, are less salty than the ocean, so they constantly lose water and must conserve it, often drinking seawater and excreting excess salts. Terrestrial organisms face dehydration and have evolved complex kidney and behavioral adaptations. Even indirectly, proper fluid balance, maintained by osmosis, is crucial for efficient gas exchange in our lungs, as imbalances can lead to conditions like pulmonary edema, hindering breathing. The legacy of understanding osmosis extends from fundamental cell biology to advanced medical treatments and large-scale environmental solutions. From a single cell swelling to providing clean water for millions, osmosis is a concept that underpins much of life and technology. Mastering it gives you a deeper insight into how living systems interact with their environment and how we can harness natural principles for human benefit. Now, it's time for the ultimate challenge. These first 5 hardest level questions will push your understanding of the quantitative aspects and complex scenarios of osmosis. Apply the Van 't Hoff equation and your knowledge of water potential components. Here are the remaining 5 hardest level questions. These will test your ability to integrate concepts, analyze biological systems, and think critically about the applications of osmosis. Good luck, future scientists! Congratulations on completing this in-depth exploration of osmosis. We've covered everything from basic definitions to advanced quantitative aspects and real-world applications. If you found this helpful, remember to visit synapse.omaps.in for more NEET-level content and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for regular updates. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep pushing your boundaries.